Hello and welcome. Today I'll be reading The Tale of Shin, a novel written by Hannie Elan. I hope you enjoy the journey. Episode 1. Look at my nephew Thao Thao. He's about to be a high school student and suddenly he's getting tall and handsome. At this rate, I'll have to start looking up to him soon, Tazar said with a playful grin as he glanced fondly at his nephew. Zayar Thao, still just a 9th grader, blushed and let out an awkward laugh, clearly embarrassed by the attention. "Come on, uncle. I'm not even worthy of standing at your feet when it comes to being handsome," he mumbled softly. Tazar chuckled, still watching him with amusement. "You definitely take after your mom's side. Got that sweet talk down just like her." Pao Darlin, who had been listening nearby, laughed and nodded knowingly. "That's our Thao Thao for you. With that honeyed little voice, he's got everyone in the house wrapped around his finger. Such a little fox. If you want something, he'll circle around until he gets it. I honestly don't know where he picked that up. Even I wasn't that smooth at his age." While Tazar and Tao Darlin were chatting in the living room, teasing each other about Thao Thao, the door to the study creaked open. Thao Thao's father, Zayar, stepped out and joined them, his voice already half laughing. "Tazar, so you finally showed up. I was starting to think we'd have to send for you just to get you over here. So, did you come back to Myanmar alone this time? Or did that guy tag along too?" Tazar rolled his eyes with a smirk. "Come on, Coco. He's not that guy. He's my husband. And his name is Daniel. I've told you that 100 times. At least try calling him by his name once in a while." He turned to Tao Darlin with mock seriousness. "Mama, please help me talk some sense into him." Tao Darlin just laughed, clearly used to the back and forth between the two siblings. All right, enough with the bickering, both of you. Let's eat before the food gets cold." "Tazar, I cooked everything myself today since you said you were coming. All your favorites. You'd better eat till you're full." Tazar agreed in full agreement with Tao Darlin, grinning playfully. "Of course, Mama. Now that I'm here, I'm going to eat like there's no tomorrow. Daniel saw this coming. He told me I'd better keep up with my workouts while I'm in Myanmar and go for a walk after every big meal. He's been nagging non-stop," he said, laughing. Then he glanced around the room. "So, where's Shin? I can't believe I'm here and she hasn't even come out to say hi. What's she up to?" The cheerful buzz of the living room suddenly quieted. A brief pause settled over the space like a light shadow, until Zayar finally exhaled and broke the silence. "Lately, Shin's been really quiet. Too quiet, honestly. She listens to everything we say, but she doesn't say much back. You know how she used to be. Sharp tongue, always had something to shoot back, never let a single comment slide. But now, she just sits there, calm, too calm. It feels like the still air right before a storm." Zayar looked at Tazar seriously. "Maybe you should talk to her. Something's definitely going on." Tao Darlin also nodded slowly. "I feel it too. It's not like her. She used to argue with everything I said, always full of fire, but now she just listens, doesn't even argue with Thao Thao anymore. It's like someone flipped a switch. She's gone so quiet that it's starting to worry me." As they spoke, Tazar found himself falling quiet too. He let out a soft breath without meaning to. The truth was, Shin was the real reason he'd come back to Yangon. Zayar and Tazar were brothers, just 4 years apart in age, and close in the way that only siblings with a deep bond could be. Zayar, the elder of the two, was a highly respected cardiothoracic surgeon. He was known for his discipline, his calm, direct way of speaking, and his unwavering sense of responsibility. Though he carried himself with quiet authority, there was a warmth beneath his composed exterior, a sincerity that made people trust him, admire him. Among his patients and peers alike, he was not only respected, but genuinely loved. Although Zayar got along well with everyone around him, the one relationship he could never quite figure out was the one with his daughter, Shin. Shin's mother, Da Shin Thant Sin, had passed away during childbirth. From the moment she was born, Shin became the center of Zayar's world, a daughter he loved deeply, yet always through the quiet shadow of loss. He raised her alone from the very beginning, pouring all his heart into her, perhaps even overcompensating for the absence neither of them had chosen. In those early years, father and daughter were inseparable. There was love, laughter, and a closeness that softened even Zayar's otherwise serious nature. But when Shin turned 10, everything shifted. That was the year Zayar remarried to Da Taudarlin. From then on, the distance between them grew slowly but steadily. The warmth began to cool. Shin, who once was lively and outspoken, became guarded. Conversations that had once been full of teasing and affection turned into clipped exchanges or silent dinners. Even as recently as 3 months ago, the gap between them remained obvious. Lately, Shin seemed quiet, too quiet. She didn't argue anymore, she didn't challenge him, but the silence wasn't peace, it was something heavier. She rarely said more than a few words, and sometimes didn't speak at all. And sometimes, in the quiet of the house, Zayar found himself missing her fire, her sharp words, her stubbornness, even her defiance. Those things at least meant she was still reaching for him. Now with her growing silence, he wasn't so sure. Noticing the shift in expression on his brother and sister-in-law, as soon as Shin's name came up, Tazar offered a gentle smile, trying to ease the weight in the room. "Hey, Coco, Mama, don't overthink it, okay?" he said, his voice calm but reassuring. "Shin's always been a good kid. Maybe a bit feisty before, sure, but that's just part of growing up. Now she's entering that stage, not quite a child anymore, not fully grown either. It's normal for her to change a little." He leaned back slightly, glancing from one to the other with a half-playful grin. "Remember how much trouble I caused when I was going through my mature phase? I drove you crazy, didn't I?" That earned the faintest smile from Zayar, but Tazar could still sense the worry behind it. He softened his tone. "Give her a little time. I'll talk to her myself, just the two of us. Don't worry, okay? She's not alone. She's got me, and she's got Daniel too." Though he kept his tone light for their sake, something in Tazar's chest tightened. Deep down, he could feel it. Something more serious was weighing on Shin. Even if she hadn't said it out loud, even if she'd gone quiet, he could sense it. He exhaled quietly, a breath that held more concern than he let show. Tazar had built a life abroad with his partner Daniel. Together, they ran a creative company in the entertainment industry, something they'd started from scratch and grown with years of passion and hard work. These days, their home base was overseas, and Tazar rarely returned to Myanmar, once or twice a year. Despite the distance, his bond with his niece and nephew remained strong. He made sure of it. But among them, it was his relationship with Shin that was especially close. Unlike her usual friction with her father, Shin was affectionate and easy around her uncle. She adored him, and the feeling was mutual. She even got along well with Daniel, who had a quiet way of making people feel safe and seen. Sometimes Tazar couldn't help but feel a little jealous of just how well the two of them got along. Daniel and Shin had an ease between them that made even him, the blood relative, feel a little left out. And now, looking back, it stung a little more. Because even now, after all the signs that something had changed in Shin, Tazar still knew nothing. She hadn't told him anything. But Daniel had sensed it. Somehow, he'd known. When Tazar finally confronted him about it, pushing past politeness into frustration, Daniel had hesitated, just for a moment, before quietly admitting, "Yeah, something happened with Shin, but I can't tell you what it is. I promised I wouldn't. All I can say is, I think you should go back to Myanmar for a while, see her in person. If she's willing, maybe bring her back here for a change of scenery. She needs something, and it might be you." That conversation had stayed with Tazar like a weight on his chest. And that was why, without hesitation,
He had dropped everything, wrapped up his work in a rush, and caught the earliest flight for Shin.